They got some precursor stuff. They can put it through. Yeah, I did do here. 670.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Actually good.
Are you the new staff for me? So,
Came back to Columbus.
where were you before?
I was up in Lake County. There you go. Up there.
And where?
Lake County.
Okay.
East of Cuyahoga County.
Okay, so, you just moved back to
Just
town?
moved back a week ago, not just, yeah, almost a week ago.
Oh, for this job, that's awesome.
You remember that guy?
What neighborhood did you land in?
Right here.
In Grandview?
Yeah.
Were you here for that?
Yeah, it's
Right
over
over
there.
there.
Situation, they're like, yeah, we got a spare. It's like, figure out what to
I haven't missed a meeting.
If I can.
Have you been, were you in Lake County since graduation?
No,
Like
like a year after.
Okay. Wow.
It's
That's right.
And I got me kind of adored and I.
Yeah. So now it's easy for science.
Cool.
Okay. I was like, tells me that is.
Yes. It's good. Did you go to grad school or undergrad?
No, I think it was undergrad.
Just undergrad.
I didn't go back to grad.
Okay. I can't, at that time, everything was like the same. Nothing was separate, so, but now I know it's very separate, but,
Yeah, yeah.
I have a hard time keeping up like who was in which
No, that's fair.
part of school, so.
Yeah.
Keep us your drink.
Oh. You got the vodka? Poured the vodka in? Good. Oh. Is that chair for John?
Yeah.
I have to sit for the 14. It'll be.
Do you want him to stay here?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I just want to make sure it was him that was coming, because otherwise.
I can parrot the stuff I recall you saying.
It's not rocket science. It's pretty predictable. Now finished with my series of 3 elbow.
I was gonna ask, are you in between,
Finished. So I felt sorry.
private looking?
You gave me the blessing. Well, you would never know how a person,
Yeah, but still you can
3
sure
times
see.
I was chopped.
Well,
Times. I've had like 5 surgeries. Like 3 of them.
3 of them were there.
Extra long.
There's just, you just don't realize when you injure a body part that you use all the time.
Yeah, and you know, I got that when I was playing football. We'd be working.
You'd understand.
I've heard a little too.
Mhm.
To the staff.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe it's because I'm 70s.
Hey, that happens.
Can't stop it. Yeah, I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw that.
Somehow all my robo dial calls have come back. No matter
Mine too.
that I've unblocked them, there's a new wave of robo dialing
Yeah,
that's
it's
just hit.
It's Happy New Year.
Just since like late December. And then I silence my unknown calls, and what happens when I'm doing something where I want the call and it's maybe an 800 number, my phone says, oh, that's an unknown caller, so it rolls straight into voicemail and I don't get the call.
Yep.
Oh, it's maddening.
It is. It's very frustrating. We get the texts from all the residents, like, hey, it's Erin, I want to buy your house. Like 10 a day.
Yeah. I thought I was,
Ridiculous.
Yeah, being on the do not call list for 30-some years has made absolutely no difference. Or I don't think it has. Maybe it would be worse. It never ceases to amaze me when we need yet another inundation. Story. I can't believe it.
Well, I can believe the storage, because people are moving on to the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah,
How many cars are just, especially,
I know.
you know, they're gonna do it.
I guess.
Like this one is not showing. It's showing.
There must be like a seminar, get guys interested in.
It's gotta be a
Franchise.
franchise seminar, you know, and yeah, that's what I think's happening.
Here comes John.
Yeah.
Figuring we get rolling about 5 o'clock.
Me too. If we hadn't had the conference room, we probably would have been 5 because it was the drive part, but. I mean,
You can never count on how easy a drive will be at that time of day.
Hey, I think
John,
we're
you got case number 4?
all ready to go.
I got to abstain on 4.
I have to abstain, sir.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, good idea.
well, 6 is the last case. You might be abstaining out in the parking.
No, they said I have to sit here to show that there's a quorum.
Oh,
Yep, I had a push, but then we were.
you.
all right, I'm ready when you're ready.
I think we are ready to roll.
Thank you.
It's got green lights on your mics. Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, I would like to call the January 13th, 2022 Development Commission meeting to order. We will start, as usual, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag outside is a half minute. Pledge allegiance to the flag. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible. Okay, we will begin with case number 1. Z19-046, 2333 Harrisburg Pike.
Sarah, before we begin, do you mind if I introduce our new staff member?
Oh, please do.
Yes. So to my left is Sierra Somonig. Sierra has been with the department since April. Yes, and she started in the Board of Zoning Adjustment Graphics Commission staff. She is now in that new position that we created for the zoning section. She's gonna be working half-time in council activities with us and half-time in residential zoning clearance.
Great.
So we're excited to have Sierra aboard in this new position that.
You joined the championship team.
And Tim's on vacation tonight, so he hasn't been replaced. And then to my right is Joe Rose. Joe just started on Monday. He replaces Haley Feitner, who left to go work for Lincoln County Grove. And
Okay.
Joe comes from Lake County Planning Commission, correct? Yes, so.
Well, we have the Scioto River and Old Tangier. It's not quite.
Okay, I'm
here.
Columbus native, so I'm familiar.
Well, it's nice to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Okay, are we ready for the report?
Yes.
The site is developed with a dwelling and garage and is being used for truck storage in the LM Limited Manufacturing District. Is an active zoning code violation for initiating this use without zoning clearance. The LM Limited Manufacturing District to permit truck, trailer, and warehouse storage and to legitimize the truck storage use. The existing LM district only permits the sale of boats, trailers, trailer hitches, and equestrian paraphernalia. To the north of the site is a single-unit dwelling in Franklin Township. To the south of the site is a single-unit dwelling in the R1 residential district. To the east, across Harrisburg Pike, are single-unit dwellings in Franklin Township and commercial buildings in the LC4 limited commercial district. To the west is the roadway and single-unit dwellings in the R2 residential district. The site is located within the boundaries of the Southwest Area Plan, which recommends light industrial land uses for this location. Additionally, the plan includes early adoption of the Columbus citywide planning policies design guidelines, which recommend that landscaping, screening, and buffering should be used to soften industrial uses along front elevations or elevations at front public streets and to minimize or mitigate impacts on adjacent uses. The site is located within the boundaries of the Southwest Area Commission, whose recommendation is for disapproval. Area Commission had concerns regarding the full drainage pipes and flooding on the site. And at the end of your staff report is an email from Joe Adams and ODOT regarding the future stormwater project. The limitation text commits to the site plan and includes development standards addressing site access, buffering, lighting, and graphics provision. The requested LM limited manufacturing district will allow truck, trailer, and warehouse storage, which is consistent with the Southwest Area Plan's land use recommendation for light industrial uses. Additionally, the site plan includes street trees and landscape screening along Harrisburg Pike, as well as vegetative screening along the northern property line to buffer from adjacent residential uses, consistent with C2P2 design guidelines. Therefore, City Department's recommendation is for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions? Traffic? Yeah.
No traffic.
And any,
No planning issue.
okay, the applicant is here. Is anyone here to speak regarding case number 1? No one is here. Okay. You have anything you want to add to the status?
No, the operator purchased the property and did a little bit of due diligence, and unfortunately, many people fail to figure out that the L means something more than just manufacturing. So the assumption was he had a manufacturing zoning classification, didn't know that it was restricted to the trailer operation. And so that is why we're here today, is that we were able to identify the 1985 case that limited the use of the property to simply horse trailers, boat trailers, manufacturing and sales. So the gentleman who purchased it in 2017 is a truck operator. And what he found is that there are a lot of independent operators in the Central Ohio area, and they simply don't have any place to move their or leave their trucks when they get off the road. And so what he's done is he's created a parking lot, is what this is, for independent drivers. So they rent slips, they pull their trailer into the slip, they pick up their individual car, and they go home and leave the truck, the semi there, and then they come back and drop their car off, get the truck, and go out. And so that is what we're asking for, is simply the ability to park the trailers and do a little bit of maintenance on those vehicles.
Can you tell me what the size of the parking area is for all the vehicles?
The total site is 8.7 acres. We are only dealing with the acreage that fronts on Harrisburg Pike. So it's about a 3.1 acre area that the trucks, and again, that's not the whole area, because some of that is the single family house, and there is a green area to the east of the maintenance facility, as you can see up there. So it may be 2.5 acres worth of parking area.
Okay, the reason I ask is the Columbus Code says anything over 10,000 square
yeah.
feet of asphalt has to be asphalt, not gravel.
Correct.
It has to
aware of
have
that.
underground.
Yes.
form. So in what you're doing, you're going to solve many of these issues.
We already have done a preliminary on-site detention system for our own site. And we did get the ODOT folks to come in and acknowledge that they need to upgrade their storm system. And they will be doing a new project in 2023 that will solve the water issues along Harrisburg.
Okay, and I read all that in
Yeah.
the text. Does anybody have any questions?
Was the Southeast Area Commission's reason for disapproval because of the flooding issues? Because the issue will continue through 2024, according to this email from ODOT.
they were very happy that we were able to identify and get somebody to react to fix it.
Okay.
And I would say by doing what you have to do to put asphalt paving on that strip, you are going to improve, maybe not totally fix everything, you are going to improve current conditions until you get to 2024.
This has been an ongoing process. We actually hired an engineer to look at what properties tributary to this drainage. And there's actually 115 acres to the south that is tributary to this. And so what was happening is there's only one pond that creates stormwater drainage in that 115 acres. So what it was all doing was funneling into this ditch and coming down to this point. So again, we're going to take hopefully care of a big problem for these folks.
That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, any other questions? Please call the roll.
Can we just have the gentleman give his name for the record?
Oh, sorry about that. Jack Reynolds, an attorney with Smith and Hale, 37 West Broad Street, Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you.
How many miles did you run at lunch?
I walked today.
Okay. All right, we're ready to call the roll.
Marty Anderson,
Yes.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
John Ingwerson,
Yes.
and Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you're approved.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, case number 2. Z21-073, 1402 Joyce Avenue.
The site consists of one parcel developed with a commercial building in the C4 commercial district. The site is subject to a zoning code violation for establishing an outdoor storage use without obtaining zoning clearance. The requested LM limited manufacturing district will establish compliant zoning for the existing outdoor storage use for fencing contractor facility. North of the site, across Windsor Avenue, is undeveloped land in the M2 manufacturing district. South of the site is an auto repair facility in the R3 residential district. East of the site, across Erickson Alley, is undeveloped land and single-unit dwellings in the R3 residential district. West of the site, across Joyce Avenue, is undeveloped land in the M manufacturing district. The site is located within the planning area of the North Central Plan, which recommends neighborhood commercial services land uses. The site is located within the boundaries of the North Central Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The limitation text establishes use restrictions and supplemental development standards that address setbacks, access, street trees, and landscaping, includes the commitment to develop the site in accordance with the attached site plan. A concurrent council variance has been filed to reduce setbacks for the proposed contractor's office and storage yard. The request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this development commission. The requested LM Limited Manufacturing District will legitimize a fencing contractor facility with outdoor storage of fencing materials, trailers, and trucks. The limitation text includes use restrictions and enhanced landscaping in consideration of surrounding residential zoning. This request will not introduce incompatible uses to the area, as the site has been historically used for similar purposes. Therefore, staff's recommendation is for approval, and I'm happy to answer.
Okay, questions, anyone? Traffic jam?
No traffic issues,
Rick?
no lighting issues.
Okay. Are there any speakers to this case number 2? Is the applicant here? Mr. Signoracci?
He was supposed to come, but maybe he's not a frequent flyer, so perhaps he
All right,
may have been.
probably looking for a parking spot. All right, I don't think we need him here to take action on this. It's approved by both the staff and the North Central area. So please call the roll.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
John Ingwerson,
Yes.
Marty Anderson,
Yes.
and Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you are approved. Okay, case number 3. Z21-050, 5756 North Hamilton Road.
Right, the site consists of a portion of one undeveloped parcel zoned in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District, which permitted many commercial uses and established development standards for the 13.86 acres of property.
located south of the recently constructed North Hamilton Road S-curve. The requested CPD will permit the development of a car wash. To the north of the site across North Hamilton Road is a beauty salon under construction in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District. Northeast and southwest of the site is undeveloped land in the CPD. Southeast of the site is a church and undeveloped land in the LARO, Limited Apartment Office District. The site is within the planning area of the Northland Plan Volume 2, which recommends preserve district for this location. The plan also recommends that landscaping, headlight screening, and trees be provided as part of development plan. The site is located within the boundaries of the Northland Community Council, whose recommendation is for approval. In June 2021, the council added a condition to execute a shared parking agreement with an owner of property within 750 feet of the subject parcel to provide a minimum of 2 off-site parking spaces for employees to replace the spaces otherwise required for the proposed use. At the time of writing this report, the applicant has revised the site plan to include 2 on-site parking spaces, and thus this condition has been satisfied. The development text establishes use restrictions and supplemental development standards that address site access, landscaping and screening, building design, lighting, and signage, and includes a commitment to develop the site in accordance with the submitted site plan. Modifications to code standards are included for a parking space reduction from 2 required spaces to 0 provided spaces, to eliminate the required parking lot screening and the 4-foot wide required landscape pavement setback to the south, and to eliminate the requirement for an exclusive bypass lane for the car wash as included in the request. And also included in the supplemental packet is a revised site plan, which essentially has the car wash going to the other side of the parcel south. The city's department recommendation is approval. The requested CPD will allow the development of a car wash that's compatible with adjacent commercial development. The proposal is consistent with the land use and site design recommendations of the Northland Plan Volume 2, and the request does not represent introduction of an incompatible use to the surrounding area. Thank you.
Okay, traffic and
All traffic issues.
planning issues.
No issues.
Okay, are there any speakers for case number 3? No speakers. Dave?
I thought the Northland representative was here.
Oh, do you want to say something? Hard to recognize you.
Bill Logan, Vice Chair of Northland Bill. Even though the condition has been met by the revision of the site plan, as was noted, and even though the site plan is basically completely flipped, we felt that in the end, it actually is an improvement of the original plan. Or it should be approved.
Okay, thank you for your input. Okay, Dave, anything else you want to add?
Yes, Dave Perry here as agent for the commission, your supplemental packet text and site plan dated January 6th would be what your change requested on. What has happened is that due to some site constraint with the adjacent access easement, we flipped the building and queuing for the wash, and that's what the change is, and that allowed things to work a little better. Northland has seen that, and all the city departments have seen it.
Okay, so I will take a motion to accept site plan dated January 3, 2022,
January 6th,
January 6th. I'm looking at the other.
text, January 6th.
Okay, January 6th.
So moved.
Second?
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, please call the roll.
Johnny Person,
Yes.
Marty Anderson,
Yes.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
and Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you are approved. This is yours.
Case Z 21-082, 6357 North Hamilton Road. Yeah.
The site is undeveloped in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District. The requested LM Limited Manufacturing District will permit the development of a self-storage facility or limited commercial use. In your supplemental packet are updated site plan, landscape plan, elevations, and limitations. The northwest site across Hamilton Road is undeveloped land in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District. To the south and east is a multi-unit residential development in the LARLD Limited Apartment Residential District. The west is a multi-unit residential development in the LAR1 Limited Apartment Residential District. Companion CB 21-132 has been filed to reduce parking and building setback lines. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this Development Commission meeting. The site is located within the planning boundaries of the Rocky Ford Blackwood Accord Plan, which recommends multi-family land use at this location. The site is located within the boundaries of the Rocky Ford Blackwood Accord Implementation Panel, whose recommendation is for approval with the following conditions. Extend the existing trail along North Hamilton Road to run the full length of the building, and coordinate with the City of Columbus arborists to relocate proposed street trees on North Hamilton Road to the other side of the trail in public right of way. The applicant will be complying with both conditions, and these commitments have been incorporated into the revised text. The limitation text commits to a site plan and includes developments, include use restriction and development standards addressing setbacks, access, screening, and lighting. The requested LM Limited Manufacturing District will allow self-storage facilities. While inconsistent with the multifamily land use recommendations of the Rocky Ford Blackwood Accord Plan, staff finds the proposal to be an appropriate land use for the site given the existing commercial zoning and emerging development pattern at the Hamilton Road and Warren Road intersection, promoting a mixed-use environment. With the revised materials, the Division of Traffic Management can support this rezoning application, and City Department's recommendation is updated to approval.
Question?
I have a question. Kelsey, how is it that self-storage is seen to be consistent enough with multifamily land use? I mean, I'm not getting the connection.
Christopher, do you want to address that from the planning division's aspect?
Thank you.
So largely, it's customer base is coming from the area. That, but it's a pretty light use. Rarely people coming and going from their storage units. So we have an example downtown. We have other examples on the far west side of Columbus that I think Cardinal was working on. When they're built in this fashion, that we found them to be.
Thank you.
Traffic.
There is a traffic access study in progress for this application.
Great. And then, do you have any more comments from planning?
No, it went before the Rocky Ford Blackwood.
Great. Bill?
Jill Tangeman, Board Stater Seymour and Pease on behalf of the applicant, joined with Cole Ellis from Cardinal Storage. Be happy to answer any questions on this particular project, just to kind of further respond to Peterson's questions. This site was already zoned for commercial uses, so it really could have been a much more intensive restaurant, drive-through type of use. This is kind of a unique concept because it sort of looks like an office building on the outside. All the storage units open into the interior of the building, and those are not the right elevations, so we'll have to make sure you get the right ones. But the building is, basically you drive through the building. So all of the doors and everything for the storage units are interior to the building. So the exterior really looks like an office building. And as Mr. Lohr mentioned, it's a very low use. We have very little traffic, very few trips, here and there during the day. And because of the surrounding multifamily, we thought it was a really compatible use, because it does serve the multifamily, of course, providing them with additional storage. But, as opposed to potentially a drive-through or car wash or something like that would, might produce a lot more noise and light traffic for the multifamily. This use really doesn't do that. And we worked with Rocky Fork pretty closely on a pretty detailed landscape plan to make sure that we're close to the road and that we really landscape the property all the way around on all sides to make sure that it's really aesthetically pleasing. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak this evening regarding this application? Being that there's no opposition and you have all the approvals, we need to add the supplemental package to this.
Yes, motion for the text dated 1/11. Joe, are the site?
The site plan is right, that's the right building.
Elevation in the supplemental pack, the elevations of the supplemental that are incorrect.
The ones that are, you have in the
The
original.
ones in the original pack were correct, so the motion needs to be for the updated plan, landscaping plan and text.
And I noticed that the date of the plan and the supplemental packet is the same as the plan and the staff report, the one we just used, January 11th.
11th, yes.
With two.
So January 11th,
Site,
updated
yeah,
plan and
Plan,
text.
text, yes.
Okay, do I
So
hear a motion?
moved.
Accept the January 11th. Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Call the roll, please.
Marty Anderson,
Yes.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
and Acting Chair Emerson.
Yes, you're approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, case number 5, Z21-086, 5971 Winchester Pike.
The site consists of part of one undeveloped parcel zoned in the LAR 12 Limited Apartment Residential District. The requested LAR 12 Limited Apartment Residential District eliminates a density restriction of 10 units per acre and increases the allowable building height to greater than 2.5 stories within the permitted building height range of the 35-foot height district. To the north and east are residential structures in Madison Township and in Canal Winchester, and across Winchester Pike are single-unit dwellings as part of traditional neighborhood development and NG general district. To the south is undeveloped land in the LM2 Limited Manufacturing and CPD Commercial Plan Development Districts, pending zoning to the LM2 Limited Manufacturing. To the west is undeveloped industrial land in Canal Winchester. The site is within the boundaries of the Southeast Land Use Plan, which recommends low to medium density residential and open space land uses at this location. Columbus citywide planning policies, design guidelines are also applicable. The site is located within the boundaries of the Greater Southeast Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval of Mr. Eller. Limitation text includes access provisions, shared and leisure path commitments, building materials commitments, lighting and preservation area controls, and a commitment to the attached site plan which reflects 144 unit apartment complex. Access to the site is through property in Canal Winchester, and that access is still pending approval. The requested LAR 12 within apartment residential district would permit a 144 unit apartment complex is compatible with the surrounding development, provides shared and leisure paths, and protects natural features. The proposal remains consistent with the land use recommendations of the Southeast Land Use Plan, and the Planning Division has reviewed building obligations for lines. Therefore, staff's recommendation is approval, and I'm happy to answer.
Any questions? Okay, Dan, traffic?
A traffic access study has been approved by the Franklin office for this application. As Shannon mentioned, that access runs through a property that's in City of Canal Winchester, and the applicant is working with City of Canal Winchester to get the appropriate approvals for that, and there is text to that effect.
Okay. And Chris, planning?
Planning is still coming.
Okay, is anyone here to speak regarding case number 5 tonight? Okay, David, you've accomplished staff approval and the area commission approval. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the presentation?
To say David Hunt, attorney for the applicant.
All right, I think you're giving a nice little green space to our recreation and parks people.
It's great, the trail, you see meanders through that open space, it's down in the floodplain, it's that way, the trail, we were asked to include that lake there that you see along Winchester Pike, it ties in and through the site. As you heard, we still have to work through a little bit of an issue with Canal Winchester on bringing that access point down through that piece to our north. It's interesting, you know, you do what I do for a living, you see all sorts of things. Canal Winchester takes the exact opposite approach to that, to the city of Columbus. And so we're having to most likely rezone that property in Canal Winchester to accommodate a residential drive through there. We're actively working with them on that. Ultimately get there, but the access point, as you can see, is in the appropriate location. It lines up with the access drive on the other side of Winchester Pike, and the county approved the traffic access study, as Mr. Morgan said.
Good luck with that.
That's fun, huh?
Got everything else going for you, but quite that. All right, I think we can cut forward and call the roll.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
John Ingwerson,
Yes.
Marty Anderson,
Yes.
and Karen.
Yes, you are approved.
Thank you.
Case number 6, Z21-087, 3573 Agler Road.
Your supplemental packet, you will find a recommendation for approval from a revised limitation text, revised plans, and a letter from Division of Traffic and the results of the study so far. The 28.38 acre site consists of 4 undeveloped parcels in the AR12 residential, SR suburban residential, R1 residential, and R rural districts, with annexation pending on the parcel which fronts on Stelzer Road. The requested unlimited manufacturing district will permit office and warehouse development. North of the site are single unit dwellings, UD8 planned unit development district, an apartment complex in the AR1 apartment district, and a gas utility building on the house. To the east are single unit dwellings and the church in the R rural district. To the east across Stelzer Road are undeveloped platted lots. The west and south is office warehouse development in the LM limited manufacturing district, and undeveloped land pending zoning to the LM. Concurrent CB 21-12 proposes parcel lines to divide parking spaces, maneuvering areas, and loading spaces, and a reduced parking setback line 25 feet. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this level. The site is subject to the I-670 graphics control overlay and is located within the boundaries of Port Columbus Joint Economic Development Strategy, which recommends office land uses for this location. The site is also located within the boundaries of the Northeast Area Plan, which recommends office light industrial. The Northeast Area Plan design guidelines recommend the inclusion of street trees in all new developments and landscape screening of parking lots, private roadways not be relocated from in front of the building. As such, the planning division is generally supportive of the proposal and will move to full support after receiving a revised site plan, which we just had recently, and we haven't had the time to determine if we're able to support that yet, but I'll let Christopher speak to that. Staff continues to request the road parking fronting Avenue Road to be relocated to the south and hidden to the roadway. If such a revision is not feasible, staff notes the street trees and landscape screening along Avenue Road and will consider support if the existing landscaping is supplemented with farming lawn grasses consistent with plan guidelines. Part of the updates will include the inclusion of ornamental grass. Staff notes and is in support of the sidewalk on the Eggle Road frontage and request the applicant coordinate with the Department of Public Service to determine whether a sidewalk or shared use path is the most appropriate pedestrian facility. Lastly, staff requests building elevations to confirm consistency of our design.
Limitation text proposes all commercial and less objectionable manufacturing uses and includes development standards addressing site access and lot coverage with commitments to develop the site in accordance with the submitted site and landscaping plans. The limitation text was revised to add restrictions for adult uses per the recommendation of the Northeast Area Commission, and does include some additional commitments for the planning division, building design, and landscaping. The site is located within the boundaries of the Northeast Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. And at the time this report was finalized, a traffic impact study is in progress, continuing to this application, and additional commitments or access revisions may be made based on the results of the impact study. The requested limited manufacturing district will allow commercial or industrial development that is compatible with the plan recommendations of both the Northeast Area Plan and Port Columbus Joint Economic Development Strategy. The proposal incorporates street trees as recommended by the Northeast Area Plan design guidelines, but revisions haven't been fully evaluated. So at this time, the staff recommendation is for disapproval until we get a complete approved traffic impact study with the necessary traffic commitments added to the limitation text and confirmation from the planning division that they're satisfied with the building elevations and or commitments text and landscaping along the road. Happy to answer any questions or come to my colleagues.
Okay, traffic issues?
Shannon mentioned the traffic impact study is in progress. Initial submittal was reviewed and comments were returned just yesterday or the day before. The applicant has come a long way and has been responsive. But we will need to see another submittal of that study before we be able to recommend approval. We also need to take a closer look at some of the landscaping proposals in the area of the road access.
All right, this is another one of those cases where the traffic issues aren't keeping pace with the rest of the zoning package. So planning?
So planning supports the use and is continuing to encourage the applicant to place the parking out in front of Agler elsewhere on site so that it's more hidden. That being said, they have provided updated landscaping exhibits that show improved landscaping and screening of that particular element. Some of that may be in the right of way, so that's something they'll have to work out with public service. They're also waiting on elevations, I believe, to review, but otherwise, supported.
Do you generally approve the use?
Yeah.
In the direction they're going. All right, let's see if there's any speakers for case number 6 tonight. We've got 2 people in the room. Are you here to speak or just, okay? All right, David, you have an obligation here to abide by whatever conditions are put on you as a result of the traffic study by the particular.
Sure. And so, I'm not, David Hodge, attorney for the applicant. And it may be that I'm a little premature here. I'm not excessively premature as a Sanderson, maybe just a hair.
I said just a
Just a
little.
hair.
We've seen a lot of these instances where the package is ready to go, nobody wants to wait.
And, Northeast Area Commission, Great Commission, they recessed them up in December, and so we've hit some obstacles. We certainly know that we need to prove to planning that the Agler Road facade of this building is going to be appropriate and incorporate natural elements and things. Well, if Mark Ford is the architect here, he's done a tremendous amount of this kind of work. I'm sure we'll get there with planning on the architecture. Our traffic impact study needs to mature. I know we need to show some clear vision issues out on Stelzer Road. we've got a commitment in our text to work with the developer to the south, who I think you all saw recently, is America's Floor Source. That property is getting ready to develop. So, I think rather than force this, I'm okay tabling it, giving it a month, letting it grow up a little bit, and come back next month with approvals across the board and move on.
That makes you a real leader in the community.
Well, just remember next time when my client needs to go faster.
Well, that's almost every point. But I know it's difficult when you have the planning and the uses and the layout of the property and the building. But traffic maybe occupies more than one jurisdiction. Maybe there's some plans that aren't cooked yet that would have an impact on this. It's very difficult to get those two on stream.
It is a great project. I know that in general, the city is supportive of it, the neighborhood is certainly supportive of it. It's most likely some real job creation over here along Stelzer Road. So why don't I just request a tabling?
I think that'd be a great precedent to set because nobody likes to wait anyway. That's why everybody pushes to get some feedback. But then the traffic issues is looming like the proverbial blank check and nobody knows. It's nicer to know. So with that said, I will take any motion to table this till the next available date.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, please call the vote to table.
Marty Anderson,
Yes.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
and Kara Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Okay, you are tabled till the next time we can talk about it.
Thank you all.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. Welcome to the team.